Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. Hopefully something stupendously amazing will have appeared on our island. If not, we're just going to be doing the usual things. Clearing stuff out so we got room to customise. And maybe we can actually start thinking about what on earth we're doing at this top right section. We need to move Vivian's house and Fuchsia's house somewhere. I don't know where. Oh! October outfit. Sorry, autumn outfit. Look at that. She's wearing a lovely little sweater. Hello there, everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:11 PM on Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. Now for today's announcements. Today we have a visitor staying at the campsite. I hope our guest is able to see what it is that makes Fawnhollow such a special place. That's all for now. I hope you all enjoy the loveliest of lovely days. Ah, Isabel looks so precious. I've got to say, forward fashion is probably some of my favourite sort of outfitting. Whatever should you do? Okay, that was very quick. Oh, subscriber, there's this thing I've been considering, and I wonder if you might be able to help. I wonder, have you ever considered exploring other frontiers? I mean, have you considered moving away? Do we have Diana's photo? We must do, because we have Fuchsia's photo, right? And Fuchsia came after Diana. I mean, have you considered moving away? I can't help but feel there's so much more to see and do, and darling, I mustn't stifle my personal growth. So, I've been thinking about moving to another island. Now be honest, what do you think? I love you, Diana, so much, but we do have 3 snooty villagers, and Amelia and Vivian are, unfortunately, 2 of my favourite villagers. But Diana, I've loved the time you spent here. You look amazing in that kimono, and change can be good. Thank you for all your support during my time here. I leave with a heavy heart, trust me. But I cannot stagnate in the same pool forever. I'm ready to leave the water. I'm ready to fly. Best of luck to us both in all our future endeavours, Poppet. Fly, fly, Diana, fly. Junebug, darling, I was out for a stroll when quite suddenly you sprang to mind. I had this powerful feeling I should write to you. And so I have. I don't have much to say, but I do hope my letter has brightened your day. Thinking of you, Vivian. Oh, it's always really hard to say goodbye. You should also start throwing these away as we get them. To a good friend, especially one like Diana, but, you know, she's got other ventures to go out on, you know? Other adventures, other new sights and horizons to see. It's wrong to keep her here forever. I know I'm doing some of that with my other villagers, but, you know, got to give some other villagers a chance to see other things. I have no idea who you are. Cole. Hi there, are you from this island? I'm here camping. Do you camp? You gotta try it sometime. It's like being inside, except you're outside. Cool. I think you're a lazy villager? I have never seen you before. It's very rare I see an Animal Crossing villager I literally have never seen before. But there we go. Oh, sweetie, I was hoping you'd drop by to say hello, Poppet. This day seems so short and my to-do list seems so long. Ain't that just the truth, Vivian? I feel really sad now that Diana's going. Animal Crossing sure does make you friends with everyone. Oh, it's dear. Hello there. I stopped by again to continue my fashion studies. If you don't mind, it would be great if you help me out again. I'm on vacation. Okay. Some vacation clothing, just so we know what we're going for. It's not a dress. As you can see, it's a groovy shirt with quite vacation flair. Sure. We'll do our best, LaBelle, and I suppose at the same time we can get some tailor tickets. So it's a bit of an unconventional autumn start to our day. We're almost at Halloween. That's crazy. Like 11 or so days. Oh, you know what? I was meant to look up a recipe for tiramisu, which I was going to do by getting this piece of paper out. You say I shouldn't do this in the middle of an Animal Crossing video. And I say, you know what? Animal Crossing videos, they're just part of my life now. You know? If I don't do it now, it's like, you see, if something takes a few minutes to do, you should do it immediately, otherwise you'll forget. So there we go. Now right at the top. How do you spell tiramisu? Tiramisu. I'm going to assume it's speak and spell. But yeah, I do a lot of baking. Actually, not so much anymore. I used to do so much more in secondary school. Because we had a thing, especially in sixth form, called Cake Days, Cake Days. I actually want to see what was ribbon. Oh, no, we've got that, don't we? cake days where it'd be a certain day in the week where someone in our class would be designated the cake person to bring cake for that day, and they would bring cakes, and not just cakes, just like sweet treats in general. And what is this like? Oh, it's tiny. It's actually minuscule. The first time I did it, I just bought like I bought some brownies or whatever from Tesco's or something, and I brought them in. That was it. And I was like, you know what? I can do better than this. I can do something a little bit more exciting. Because especially, I can't remember, I think it was like the summer beforehand, I was like, I want to start baking something, so I baked some cookies. The problem is, in my family, oh, what does this look like? We should wear this just to see. I think we can do better vacation flair than that, the bell. I'll be perfectly honest. Yeah, I was baking some cookies, so I was like, I want to learn how to bake properly. I gotta say, baking is very... Excuse me, it's choked. What's got good vacation flair? Oh, obviously this, hula top. It's simple. Baking is a science. You just find a recipe and follow the recipe to a T, and you'll do it exactly right. That's all you need to do. There's nothing more to it. Floral skirt, that seems very vacation-y. And let's just get some sandals, and then we'll be like, good enough. Or do we have like a flower crown or something? Hibiscus, that's pretty. What's the word? You know the word. Summary. Heart shades, sure. Socks are a nuisance. There we go. So wear this. And anyway, yeah, I was like, I learned to bake some cookies. Bake some cookies, they were pretty good. And it was delicious, I think. Maybe the first time I did them, they weren't so good. I can't remember why. But anyway, I did more baking. And then, of course, the second time my cake day came around, and that was our electronics lesson probably, I was like, oh, you know, I can do better. So I baked some Oreo cupcakes, which I've now become sort of known for. It uses a lot of Oreos, I'm not gonna lie. But they had like a very nice Oreo frosting. I stuck like Oreos in the top, and then I did something else. What else did I do? I put the Oreos inside the cake at the bottom. So like I put the cake Oreo at the bottom of the cupcake. What's it called? The cupcake, you know, paper. Paper's not really the right word. What does the label knit shirt look like? Oh, looks alright. Yellow, not the best colour for it, I think. I think your deep red is a lot better. Anyway, what's I saying? I just forgot. What was I saying? It was something about... Oh yeah, I put an Oreo... I made 4 types of Oreo cupcakes. The first one was the most Oreo-like. It had an Oreo in the cupcake itself. So I put the Oreo at the bottom of the cupcake paper, then I put the cake filling on top of that. I think it was just regular chocolate cupcake filling, I can't really remember. And then I topped it with Oreo frosting, and then I stuck an Oreo like horizontally at the top, so it was like, if you looked at it from table level, it would be a circle, I suppose. Not if you looked at it from the top. Does that make sense? That description probably made no sense. Let's get some Taylor tickets out here. 10, we don't need that many. Let's just grab probably like 2 or something. As we go buy some Halloween outfits. So yeah, that was pretty good. And then I made the second layer down from that. The second step down, I can't remember what made it less Oreo-like. Because they went from, in the scale, from most Oreo-like to least Oreo-like. I think it was because maybe I did like half an Oreo on top or something. I can't remember, but it was basically the same. And the third one didn't have an Oreo on top, it just had the Oreo on the inside. And the fourth one just had the Oreo frosting on top. It was very delicious. And then it just became a thing that people just got excited. Oh my god, cat whiskers. That's genius. Gotta buy those. Actually, can't like speak and do this at the same time. Whoa, this is gorgeous. Gotta buy that, obviously. I don't see why the Taylor tickets can't be used on things which are just more than 3,000. What? Like, why not? Just let me do it, game. Where are the cat whiskers? I missed them. There they are. They're so cheap. We should not use the tickets on those. I guess we can use them on these. I don't know which colours we don't have. What else can we buy? That's expensive. Shoes? Shoes. We can make a cat outfit, I suppose. Maybe that just can be our usual outfit. I don't think we spoke to Rowan for years now. Yo dear, does your jog route go through here? Let's chat. I get all my clothes a size too small. Why be small if you don't show it? Kinda uncomfortable though. Fair enough. Yeah, so then people started really looking forward to my Oreo cupcakes, being like, dear, I can't wait for you to be the cake person again, I suppose. So then I was like, oh, now some added pressure on it. Every time it happens, I've got to go all out. So of course, electronics was not the only subject we did it for. We did it for physics as well, and I think we did it for chemistry within like our last term or so. What we're gonna do now then? I suppose we should start moving fuchsia stuff here, or another blue rose has spawned, or water vat. Oh, we should also check out the pumpkins that we planted to grow like years ago, and see how they're coming along. Luckily, the fact that blue roses can now or any flower can now duplicate themselves is fantastic, in a fantastic condition, to be honest. Let's start clearing things up. Yeah. So the second time it came out, I think it came around during electronics again, or was it physics? I remember for physics, I don't remember why I remember what I made so well, but for physics I made like regular caramel cupcakes. They're very sweet is what I remember. I put too much sugar in, or I followed a recipe which had a lot of sugar in, and I was like, oh, this is a bit much, but some people really liked them, so there we go. And I think I also made something, because I think when I was making them, I was like, oh, these might be too sweet. So I made something, we need 1, 2, 3 white ones and 1 green one. So I made also another treat which is less sweet. They're like, I can't remember what they're called properly. I think they were called cutout cookies. But they're basically a type of cookie that we're missing 1 white pumpkin, which really hold their shape very well. So they're very good for if you want to make specific shaped cookies. But they're like dark chocolate or something, and I dipped them in half in white chocolate. I can't remember. They're also quite popular. And for some reason I remember, because we had physics directly before electronics. So I brought them to physics, and then I had some stuff left, so I brought them to electronics as well. So we had like a bonus cake day. It's because I had the same teachers, basically, for physics and electronics, so it wasn't that weird. And the second time I had it in physics again, what did I make? Sorry, in electronics again. I can't remember what I made. Surely I must have made Oreo cupcakes again, because they were so in demand. I feel like I made Millionaire Shortbread, but I'm not sure if I did. That sounds familiar to me. I will say Millionaire Shortbread is my favourite, like, dessert treat, so, you know, that's a little bit for me right there. I think I did that, and I did some, like, marbling on the top of a Millionaire Shortbread. Marbling being, I don't actually know what the definition of marbling is, but basically you just melt, like, 2 different colours of chocolate, when you get a toothpick and you sort of swirl it around a bit to make a fancy pattern. That's all I really did. Did I make Oreo cupcakes? Oh no, a shovel broke. I thought I customised it at the end of last episode, but now I think about it, I didn't. I suppose we'll plant the pumpkins over here, or why not? We shouldn't have planted the pumpkins here. This is where the museum is meant to go, isn't it? Oh no, the museum goes over here, it's fine. We'll sell these ones. We don't need all that many other pumpkins. I wonder if the pumpkins don't grow if it's not autumn. That's an interesting thought. Either way, we need to go purchase a shovel from Tom's. Tom's? From Nook's. Don't know why I call it Tom's. And maybe we'll move Vivian's house today so we can start clearing out her area. We'll put it just like in a patch of flowers or somewhere. Just so it will help us with the moving flowers business. The next time Liv comes around, we'll have to buy some more pumpkin starts to try and get one more white pumpkin plant. Anyway, what did I make? I'm pretty sure I made Millionaire Shortbread one of the times. I feel like I must have made Oreo cupcakes again because they were in demand. Oh, I know. I remember. No, I remember. I made like Neapolitan cupcakes. It was like a recipe I saw from a YouTube channel called Cupcake Gemma, which is like a UK based. Like she works in. Oh, I can't remember because she says it in the intro every single time. Her name's Gemma, and she's like a baker who works in a place called Crumbs and Doilies, I think. Somewhere in Soho, London, which I've never been to, by the way. I should really go to it at some point. And if I ever see her, be like, hey, I used to follow your recipes. They were great. And she'd be like, oh, cool. And then it would be awkward, because I'm very awkward, apparently. Oh, what do you think about Audie? Oh, hey, Sweetkins, listen for a second. I feel like if every day of my life was full of excitement, it made me a way more awesome pop star. So how about you and me, we do a treasure hunt and turn this day from mild into pop star wild? Let's do it. It'd be nice if villagers would suggest other games apart from just treasure hunts. Oh, this is going to be annoying because we got stuff buried everywhere. Nope, we know how to do this. Did I buy oh, I did buy a shovel. Okay, good. I was like, I don't have a shovel. Presumably they would give you a shovel or something if you didn't have one when you started. That seems like something that we do for Animal Crossing. Yeah, it was these Neapolitan cupcakes. Like, I can't remember exactly why they were Neapolitan. I think it was like they had a mixed vanilla and chocolate like cupcake sponge, and then they had a strawberry frosting. And then I did something interesting. I bought these like ice cream wafer cone flake things, and I stuck them at the top to make them look like ice creams. I remember though, because I made them the night before. Obviously, I'm not going to make them the day, like the morning of, because, you know, I had to go to school in the morning. I remember though, I did it, and then the next morning I woke up, and I was just like checking them over, and I was like, these waffle cones, why do they look so weird? And like, or maybe I saved some for breakfast, or I had like some left of a pack that I was just going to eat for part of my breakfast or something. I can't quite remember. And I ate it, and I was like, ooh, these waffle cones got very stale. Very quickly, because of you know, you leave them out in open air for too long. That's kind of what happens to things like that. We're gonna have a lot of fossils over here. Gonna be a bit of a nuisance to clean up, but sure. And then I was like, oh no, all these cupcakes are now gonna be terrible because of the waffle cones. Luckily, as it came down to it, I just explained it to the class as they happened. So I was like, if a waffle cone tastes bad, don't eat it because they might be very stale. Because I left them, because I made them last night, and they don't keep very well in the open air. They're meant to be eaten very quickly, apparently, from opening it or something. Everyone was like, all right. Then some people ate them, they were like, oh, this one doesn't taste that good, that'll be fine. And then some people ate them, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. So it makes me either think that those people, that either being very nice, being like, oh, you know, dear, she worked very hard on all these lovely cupcakes, but we should be nice and eat them anyway. Or they just ate it and was like, hey, it tastes sweet. You know, it's not that bad. I don't know, when I ate it, I was like, man, this tastes really stale. So I didn't eat them. I'm pretty sure that's what I made a second time. And he said, it seems vaguely right. This should be a fossil because we've had this sitting there for ages. Oh my god, we've only got 35 seconds? Oh gosh. I've been too busy. Get up! I was like, why aren't you bringing out your shovel? Okay, we don't have a lot of time, so we had to kind of get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky. Where is it? Audie, you hit it very well. Either that or it's just down here somewhere. Oh, is that it over there? That might be it over there. We'll go check it out in a bit. I hear you are meant to finish a treasure hunt before you talk to them again, otherwise you lose friendship points or something. They respect you less as a person because you couldn't find their present. Okay, I mean, the fact, Audie, that you hid it over here is just kind of mean, to be honest. Like, how am I gonna find this? Anyway, not the point. The point is, well, I don't remember what my point was. Oh no, that was just what I made. Here it is. I don't get to keep it, but oh well. It's not like we really need many other gifts or anything. Yeah, I think that's what I made a second time. I definitely did it a second time in physics, I feel like, but I don't remember what I made. And when I did it a third time for electronics, I think it was because it was like the last lesson. Or one of the last lessons or something before like we broke up for exams. Huh? You found it? But the time's already run out. Sorry, but I'll be taking that. You were so close today. Let's play again sometime, Slay Queen. So yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it was like the last lesson before we broke up for exams or something, and they were like, "Oh dear," or the teacher was, someone was like, I can't remember, "Dear, would it be okay if you did the last cake day?" Maybe it was before summer break or something, and I was like, "Sure, I'd love to." So I was like, "Okay, this time I'm gonna go all out." I think I made 3 different things. I think I brought back the Oreo cupcakes. I made Rocky Road / Tiffin, depending what you call it. And I made something else, but I don't remember. I think I made the cutout cookies again, or something simple like that. Or maybe Millionaire Shortbread. I think it was Millionaire Shortbread now I think about it. So I was like, "Oh, here's a sweet bonanza." But Oreo cupcakes were very popular, from what I remember. They also were pretty expensive to make, because Oreos aren't cheap, to be honest. You had to buy a lot of packs of Oreos for that sort of thing. Maybe I made brownies. I actually can't remember, because brownies were something I was very known for making very good brownies. So much so that I've been... people now know I make brownies, so if I'm like visiting a friend's house, I'm like, "Oh, what should I bring?" or something. I remember I had a chat with Ethan or something for like his birthday party when I was coming. I was like, "Hey, do you want me to bring anything, like alcohol or other stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can bring whatever alcohol. And I'm sure people won't complain if you made some brownies." Wink, wink. And I was like, "Got it. I'll make some brownies." So now it's just sort of staple. If I go to someone's house, what do I bring? You know, brownies. Of course, that's when everyone's a bit younger. Everyone has a bit more of a sweet tooth. Nowadays, it's a bit more, probably less like that. Because not everyone, like, you know, people are on a diet, people cutting down on sugary things, don't have as much of a sweet tooth anymore. Apparently that was a difficult sentence for me to say. So I guess I don't do it as much. Actually, to be fair, most of the times I invite people around to my house, and then I bake things. So yeah, I think I talked about this before. I don't do too much baking regularly because I don't eat sweet treats all that much. And some members of my family, they like sweets, but they don't want to eat all that much, or they don't really care that much for sweets. So I don't bake all that much, which is always to the shock of my friends. When I'm like, "Yeah, I don't really like brownies are fine. I don't really mind them all that much." And they're like, "What? But you make such good brownies." Well, at least I think they think they're good. So yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I'm trying to remember what I did in chemistry, because we did chemistry cake days as well. Is it we had joint cake days? That might have been it. We might have had like 2 people brought in cakes or something. I don't know if I'm just making this up or not at this point. Not that it really matters to you. Oh, what do you think about Savannah? Oh, Lollipop, this is perfect timing. You know how secret greeting is salutations? Well, I was wondering if we could come up with something better. Bell for your thoughts? I've got a great idea. Hello, Cupcake. Okay, it was Joy-Con Drift. Oh, why don't you just go hello there? Because I don't know. Hello there. So, what do you think? Sounds right. Hello there. It does sound right. I love it. Our own secret salutation. Sure. Yeah, you might think, oh, having a cake day in chemistry is a bit weird because, you know, aren't you in a chemical lab where you probably don't want to be ingesting food items in case, you know, a chemical accidentally got mixed up with them. As, you know, we take precautions. We don't just, like, you know, eat over some, like, hydrochloric acid or something. So yeah, it's mostly fine. Probably. I mean, no one got poisoned. Any chemical poisoning that I know of when we had cake days, so good job us. Past me. Why don't you titrate a cupcake? That sounds like a great rap line. I'm a titrate a cupcake while I wait for... I don't know. I just want to pick up a furniture item. I don't know why you insist on picking up a flower every single time game. So I'm sorry, Vivian, your housing abode is going to look significantly less impressive for a little bit. And actually quite for a long while. But, you know, it's all for the greater good of redecoration. A new you. Think of it like that. Yeah, yeah, we didn't really do any, cake days for other subjects. Like, it wasn't a thing during the GCSE time. It was a thing during sixth form because, like, you know, I guess we're more like adults. Where teachers are treating us a bit more like adults rather than children to corral. And I suppose we all have a bit more sensibility at that point, thinking about our future and whatnot. Yeah, but we never did it in maths, as far as I can remember. The only times I remember is, I don't know, a story for another time, I suppose, our teacher had, like, on, like, the last day of the term or whatever, he was like, oh, I'm going to put a riddle on the board, and if you solve that riddle, the first 3 people to solve a riddle will get a box of celebrations. And then he put a riddle on the board, and luckily for me, it was a riddle I heard of before and had solved before, but it was many years before and I couldn't quite remember the solution, but I remembered vaguely, like, it was a thing where if I saw the process of the solution, I would know what to do. Wait, hold on, that's obvious. I mean, like, it's basically, if I tried a load of things, I'd be able to figure it out. If you want to know what the thing was, it was like, it was a man and... I can't remember the setting. A mayor? Maybe it's like a church pastor or something? We're talking, and the man was like, oh, I have 3 daughters. And we're like, oh, really? How old are they? And then... I can't remember exactly how it goes. It's something like, well, you know, the product of their ages are... And the man goes, oh, the product of their ages are equal to that sum over there, that number over there, or like the number of people in this room, and then the pastor counts the people of the room, and it's like, okay. Oh, we should not sell these because they're expensive, some of them. And he's like, okay, that's not enough information to give me their ages. And he's like, okay, well, the sum of their ages are something else. Another number, you know? Why not? I'm just going to Google it before I spread misinformation. Hold on. 3 daughters age riddle. A man has 3 daughters. A second intelligent man asked him the age of his daughters. The first man told him that the product of their ages was 36. After thinking, the second man was unable to find the answer and asked for another clue. The first man replied that the sum of their ages equals to his house door number. Still, the second man was unable to answer and asked for another clue. The first man told him the youngest daughter had blue eyes, and suddenly the man gave him the correct answer. Explain how. So that's a premise. The premise is, since it's to 36, you find out all the different possible products, which time multiply together to get 36, and then you find out all the sums of all the different products. And the important part of the riddle was the fact that the second man couldn't deduce the ages of the daughters uniquely from only that information. So that means there must be a repeated sum in there somewhere. So if you do the maths, you work out, I think the repeated sum was like 18 or something. Let me think. It would be like 9, 2 and 2. Okay, that's like not 18 in the slightest, now I think about it. Why do I feel like 9, 2 and 2? Yeah, 9, 2 and 2, 6 and 1. They both add up to 13. So it means that the door in his house was 13, and then the daughters are either 9, 2 and 2 or 6 and 1. And then the man's like, oh, I still don't know, you know? And then there's like, the youngest daughter has blue eyes. So then he knows for sure that it must be 1, 6 and 6, because otherwise he would have 2 youngest daughters, which is not really how it works, but for the benefit of a doubt of the riddle, we'll allow it for that. We'll give it a pass. Because you can have you can still have a youngest child and a twin if you have twins or whatever, but you know, it's, you know, you got to think of riddle logic, not real logic. But there you go. And then you can work out the daughter's ages, except for the maths teacher phrased it a bit differently. It was something about what's a past her age, because he asked a question in relation to their age. And there we go, I was the first person to do it. Got a box of chocolates, shared it with class. It was good fun. Anyway, let's round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. And if you want to join Dear Darling Discord down in the description below, yeah, just go on, do it. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Treat yourself to some cake.